I think we're getting to the point where people are just focused on getting as much Bitcoin as possible and not getting bogged down in figuring out why. They're just buying, they're just hitting the buy button because they feel like the front running and the FOMO and the hyper Bitcoinization is so strong that people are just like hit the buy button and they'll think about why they're doing it later.
So obviously the Trump election is probably one of the biggest pieces of news in Bitcoin that's happened. You and I were talking a little earlier about how I think it surprised both of us. What was your reaction with the Trump news? Obviously Trump's controversial because he's got his own coins and all that, right? What's your thoughts about that change in America?
Yeah, it's, I've been around for a long time, and I came of age as a kid, or I was a kid.
Bitcoin has shattered the $100,000 milestone, but if you think that's the peak, think again. Financial visionaries Max Keiser and Jack Mallers argue that this breakthrough is merely the beginning of Bitcoin's meteoric rise. The surging demand for Bitcoin has ignited a market frenzy unlike anything seen before, with fear of missing out driving both retail and institutional investors to buy in without hesitation. Max Keiser explains that this urgency goes beyond individual buyers. It's now about nation-states entering the game. He suggests that global powers, including the US, are quietly stepping into the Bitcoin market, preparing for multi-billion-dollar acquisitions. This isn't just about hedge funds or wealthy individuals anymore. Entire countries are beginning to recognize Bitcoin's transformative potential as a global reserve currency. Jack Mallers shares Keiser's optimism, offering insights into Bitcoin's unstoppable growth. For something to become the ultimate store of value, Mallers explains, it must be universally accessible, unrestricted, and reliable. Bitcoin checks all these boxes, operating 24/7 year-round as a borderless, censorship-resistant, and infinitely divisible form of money. These features position Bitcoin not just as a digital asset but as the next evolution of money itself. For more insights, watch clips from Max Keiser's latest interview.
Stop. You don't have time. Don't miss out this 2025 bull run. Educate yourself first ahead of the crowd. We have created the ultimate step-by-step crypto cheat guide that will guide you this bull run. Unlock the secrets of crypto and make smarter investments today. Now by clicking on the link below to get your exclusive copy just under $10.
My point being that de-dollarization is here, and these countries are pulling out of the dollar, and part of that transition will be to price energy in something other than the dollar. And I think the winner will be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin becomes a world reserve currency. And so energy and Bitcoin is almost synonymous. A lot of people have been saying for years, really, that Bitcoin is energy, energy is Bitcoin. It's backed by energy, it is energy. Money is energy. Money is the energy that you can solidify, put in your pocket, and move into the future with it, right? Because your Bitcoin that you can buy stuff with today is the same Bitcoin you can buy stuff with in 5 years. Also, it's the same Bitcoin you can buy stuff with in some other countries. It can move through space. So money allows you to move through time and space. It lets you move through into the future. It lets you move around geographically. And that's always been the appeal of money, from beads and shells to gold. The appeal has always been the ability for an individual to be free. And freedom is something that humans yearn for. And so money has always been a means for freedom in that sense. And obviously state money, like the US dollar, doesn't have that level of freedom. It doesn't really come with freedom attached. The cycles in Bitcoin, I think, looking ahead, will be, I see a problem developing in 18 months of liquidity, where it's just people are going to not be able to source Bitcoin at any price. There's just nobody, and so it'll be an illiquid market. And this happens in markets all the time. They get jammed up by having liquidity issues. That's why over the last, you see this sideways action in Bitcoin since the last time we spoke.
Right.
And people are saying, well, there seems to be a lot of demand. Why is it going sideways? And there's two reasons for that. Number one, there was a lot of supply with Germany selling, the Mt. Gox folks selling, et cetera, or getting settlement. But the other part of that equation are that since Bitcoin was moving into Wall Street broker-dealers have to create their order books, have to create the ability to handle transactions. And that means they have to short a lot of Bitcoin to have those shorts on their books, as well as the longs. Because when you're maintaining, as a specialist, essentially, you're maintaining buys and sells, you have to try to make a market and price discovery is something that's mutually beneficial to all participants. And in order to allow for good price discovery to occur, broker dealers have to have a lot of inventory. They have to have a lot of Bitcoin. They have to have both sides of the books adequately represented on the short side and on the long side. So I think that part of this whole sideways movement where broker dealers and market makers kind of preparing for a much bigger market. And then once they have a size their markets properly, then the price discovery is kind of allowed to act based on the true supply and demand. Mm-hmm. And so now we're seeing this jump to 90, 100, 120, 150,000. I think the price can get to 200 to 250,000 in this cycle before you have any difficulty from broker dealers in handling orders. Before they would maybe have to recalibrate their order books, etc.
As nations seek to secure financial sovereignty, Bitcoin's borderless and censorship-resistant features offer a groundbreaking advantage. This movement isn't just about moving away from the US dollar, it's about embracing a system where trust is anchored in code rather than centralized institutions. Max Keiser attributes Bitcoin's recent sideways price action to an increased supply and the growing influence of Wall Street institutions. Despite this, he predicts Bitcoin could soar to $200,000, $250,000 as the market matures. Meanwhile, Jack Mallers draws parallels with critical U.S. economic decisions, highlighting the urgent need for new solutions during periods of financial instability. He forecasts that by 2025, the U.S. will adopt Bitcoin, aligning with core American values like equality and open network. Mallers emphasizes that Bitcoin, as a decentralized asset, drives innovation, growth, and job creation while advancing energy efficiency. He urges the U.S. to invest in Bitcoin, framing it as the cornerstone of a stable and forward-thinking economic future. Watch more clips from the interview for deeper insight.
In 1933, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're taking all your gold. In 1971, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're divorcing ourselves from the gold standard so we can print money. In 2008, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? It was we're bailing out all the big banks that misbehaved. In 2025, if the U.S. has a really big economic announcement, what is it? It's we're pro-technology, we're pro-innovation. What principles and morals and ethical alignment does Bitcoin have? Equal rights, equal opportunity, an open network. These are American ideals, American values. This is an asset that was accessible to the people 15 years ago that the people own. Governments only own 2, 3, 4% of this asset. This asset is held by the people. It acts in the best interest of the public. It's pro-jobs, it's pro-energy, it's pro-industry, it's pro-growth. And does anyone else have a plan to get us out of debt? Are we going to start a lemonade stand out here in Times Square? No, how about the best performing asset in the history of mankind? We lean into it, we buy it. Coinbase is an American company, Strike's an American company, Kraken's an American company, Tether sells the US dollar. Let's support these businesses. Let's support this industry. I think that ego gets in the way of many people. People think they're late to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, right? I think that late according to who? Oh, because you're comparing yourself to Michael Saylor, you're comparing yourself to your college roommate, you're comparing yourself to your coworker. Over the last 15 years, the best thing you could have done is buy Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be true for the next 1,500 years. And so as a country, I think we have a choice. I think everyone else around the world is understanding we are pro-growth, pro-business, pro-Bitcoin as this new administration takes office. And we have to make a decision. I think the worst thing we can do is not own enough. And actually, to de-risk this, we should buy some and push these American ideals in technology and innovation and growth through the best performing asset and technology in mankind.
Bitcoin has soared past the $100,000 mark, reaching an all-time high of $113,693 as of December 5, 2024. This milestone, more than a decade in the making, solidifies Bitcoin's position as a significant financial asset. However, despite its meteoric rise, Bitcoin remains primarily measured in USD, functioning more as an alternative investment than a replacement for fiat currencies. Its value surge comes amid broader discussions about Bitcoin's role in global finance and its potential as a decentralized store of value. The rally coincided with Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 U.S. presidential election, which sparked optimism for a more crypto-friendly administration. Bitcoin's price jumped from $69,000 on election day to $75,000 shortly after the announcement, as investors anticipated policy shifts that could favor the cryptocurrency market. Trump has pledged to retain the federal government's Bitcoin holdings and has announced plans to replace SEC Chair Gary Gensler, a figure often criticized for strict crypto regulations. His pick to lead the SEC, Paul Atkins, is a known advocate for digital assets and has emphasized the importance of fostering innovation in the crypto space. Further fueling Bitcoin's rise was the launch of options trading on BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, which saw a staggering $1.9 billion in transactions on its first day. This, combined with Trump's pro-crypto appointments and his administration's emphasis on digital innovation, has created an environment of optimism around Bitcoin's future. With a more favorable regulatory outlook on the horizon, the question remains, will Bitcoin adoption continue to grow in the coming year, or will the onboarding frenzy slow down? Share your thoughts on what lies ahead for the cryptocurrency space. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.